Hey everyone, how's it going? Dan here with John. Oh, he's on this side today.
Hey everybody.
How's it going? News desk report here on Drum Talk TV, where we report music industry news. Go figure. That's kind of weird. And we have to be responsible and always start with recent passings. A big one, Blondie drummer Clem Burke passed away. That was April 6th. After battling cancer, and for a very short time, but meaningful time, he was also Elvis Ramone in the Ramones in 1987. Clem Burke, very, very respected drummer in not just the drumming community, but the music community. So condolences to his family and friends, and we'll miss Clem's pounding. I say pounding lovingly.
Yeah. People say, oh, you bang on drums. Yeah, whatever. Okay, moving on. David Allen, bassist for the Gang of Four, passed away April 5th. Former bandmate Hugo Burnham says Dave had been living with onset dementia.
Yeah.
Tough. It's tough.
That's tough. Not long ago, 2022, the Red Hot Chili Peppers were #1 on the UK chart with their 12th studio album, Unlimited Love. Produced by Rick Rubin, the album marked the return of guitarist John Frusciante, who left the band in 2009 and rejoined 10 years later in 2019. The album debuted at #1 in 16 countries, including flash in the pan, though we're still around, country called the United States.
Yeah, we're still here.
We're still here.
By the way, produced by Rick Rubin. I've been approached.
Oh, that's right.
More than once by somebody saying, "Oh my God, you look just like Rick Rubin." And of course, I didn't know who that was.
That's so funny.
I looked it up. Wow, yeah. So in 1994, Oasis released their first single, "Supersonic," which peaked at number 31 on the UK charts. However, over time, it has amassed sales over 215,000, making it their 13th biggest selling single ever in the UK. Supersonic was also the band's first single to chart in the United States, where it peaked at number 11 on the US Billboard Modern Rock Tracks chart.
That's cool. In other news, today, April 11th, Dan had to change to his reading glasses because he needs a new prescription, which I have. I just need the new glasses. And then in 1977, Alice Cooper played to an audience of 40,000 people in Sydney, Australia, the largest crowd to attend a rock concert in the country's history, even beat out Led Zeppelin, who had an enormous show there. Some very famous pictures of just from an aerial shot of the sea of people, and I'm kind of surprised that this audience is bigger. I thought Zeppelin's was the biggest, but I think it was 30 something. So cheers to Alice Cooper for making that happen. That's legendary.
Yeah. By the way, the glasses is a good look. You have this Clark Kent look about you. Okay. So moving on to 1970, the Beatles started a 2-week run at #1 on the U.S. singles chart with Let It Be. It became the group's 19th U.S. #1 in 6 years. The track was the #2 hit in the UK.
Very cool. Did you ever see the Beatles live, John?
Yes.
Where and what year?
I thought you were talking about a documentary. No.
Did you ever see them live? No? Okay.
No. My ex-brother-in-law saw him at their last live concert, which was at Candlestick Park in San Francisco.
Wow.
I was just a stone's throw away, but I was too dumb to know that they were good.
You were what? A stone's throw away and what?
I didn't realize how good they were.
Oh, okay. Or what would happen. 1966 on this date, April 11th, Buffalo Springfield made their live debut at the Troubadour in Hollywood, California. The folk rock band are renowned for both their music and springboard for the careers of Neil Young, Stephen Stills, Richie Fury, and Jim Messina. Buffalo Springfield were among the first wave of North American bands to become popular in the wake of the British invasion. And my parents used to go to the Troubadour when they were dating in I guess from the time that Troubadour opened, very early 60s, before I was born, listen to poetry, spoken word, and the bongo guy. And then starting in 1980, I'm going to say 2, I started playing there, and I played there off and on for probably 5 years. So it was neat having my parents come see me play where they used to date. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. What a cool story. Bob Dylan played his first live gig in New York City. This is 1961 at Gertie's Folk City, opening for John Lee Hooker.
Cool. Awesome. That's your news for this day in history, April 11th, folks. Now let's go on to some Drum Talk TV related stuff. On our membership site, drumtalktvbrilliance.com, premium members will be able to attend our upcoming Q&A with Derek Shulman, not only of Gentle Giant, and I'll get to some Gentle Giant news here, but after Gentle Giant, Derek went on to become one of the biggest and well-respected record executives ever. 3 legendary labels, including his own. So you'll be able to ask him questions about that. I mean, how often do you get to have an intimate online conversation to ask a record producer, a legendary prog rocker, who also became one of the biggest record execs, questions? So we encourage you to join us. Steve will put the instructions and the link in the comments there. But Gentle Giant is releasing now. They're not playing anymore live, but the guys are still, the surviving members are putting out all kinds of fun videos. Noah Shulman, Derek's son, makes those. He's a record exec as well. And but they're releasing their live album, playing the full Complete Live. That's the new name, the Complete Live Experience, in early May. So Derek will talk about that in the beginning, which will be available to watch live on YouTube and Facebook for probably just the first 10 minutes or so. And then we cut that stream, and the rest is available in a virtual environment, accessible on everything from a PC to a laptop to a tablet, even a smartphone. You can navigate around a fun virtual environment and be able to put in the queue to ask Derek questions if you want. A lot of fun. So come be part of that. And we actually have a message from Derek, and then I have more Gentle Giant news and more Q&A news. So let me scroll down to where the video is, which is right here. Here's Derek.
Hello, I'm Derek Shulman. You may know me from my work with Gentle Giant, and we're releasing Playing the Fool, the Complete Live Experience. If you'd like to ask me about anything related to Gentle Giant or my work as a record executive, anything to do with the music industry, you can do so by becoming a member of Drum Talk TV Brilliance over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com. That's drumtalktvbrilliance.com, all in one go. You'll be sent access to a Q&A session. It'll take place on Thursday, April 24th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, U.S. time. Read the details in the post, and we'll see you there. Bye-bye.
Derek is very generous with his time, his wisdom, and advice, and we're absolutely thrilled to have him. I've been a huge Gentle Giant fan since I was 14, so that'd be 1977, I guess. Yeah. And just tremendous musicians. His late brother was actually, I should mention this. Well, I'll save it. I have something to say about Ray, but he was a tremendous musician as well. All of them multi-instrumentalists. And just if you're not familiar with Gentle Giant, folks, take a deep dive. There's some really fun stuff. But I'm doing something later with Jeff Berlin that has to do with Gentle Giant that I'll mention shortly. Also, Gentle Giant related, we're having one of my favorites and a big influence, John Weathers of Gentle Giant, May 4th at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern U.S. times, and 4 p.m. UK time. And John forgot to silence his phone. And we're rescheduling McStein and Miniman for the summer. So we had Randy McStein and Marco Miniman, who just put out an album, scheduled to do a fan Q&A session, but then their tour kicked in and they realized maybe we should wait till the tour's over. So we'll have them during the summer, and you'll be able to ask the two of them together questions about their project together, their project separately, and their work in the Aristocrats as well. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely tuning in for that one.
Cool.
Always have questions for like record producers. Don't know how they do it. Okay,
Right.
over at Drum Talk TV Brilliance, we're running the Stuart Copeland Drumming Challenge through all of April until the 30th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Members of DrumTalkTVBrilliance.com can send in more submissions for our play along contest, whereas people accessing the free showcase can submit up to 2 play along videos. You could submit videos of yourselves playing along not just to hits, but also to deep cuts. And I believe we have a video.
We do. I'm really excited to see what we get here. Check this out, folks.
Drum Talk TV Brilliance presents the Stuart Copeland Drumming Challenge, and the submissions window is open all of April 2025 up until the 30th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Here's how it works. Step 1. Choose your favorite track that features Stuart Copeland on drums. These can and must be play-alongs to the official recordings, and you don't have to worry about them getting muted or pulled since it'll be on our own platform. With such an expansive career including The Police, solo albums, collaborations, he's even done film and TV work, you're bound to find something cool to play along to. Step 2. Record videos of yourself in horizontal mode playing to your selection. Step 3. Submit your videos in the Drum Talk TV Brilliance Showcase. It's free! Step 4. Your videos will be reviewed and graded on accuracy, fan praise, and sound. For the fan praise factor, people can comment the word VOTE under each video they like. The judging criteria is explained further on the submissions page. Here's what you can win. First, second, and third place winners can win a gift certificate to their favorite music store, as well as a free Drum Talk TV shirt, picked from 36 designs. And first place will have the chance to be interviewed live on Drum Talk TV. Don't miss out. Join us in honoring Stuart Copeland over at DrumTalkTVBrilliance.com.
Cool. And the thing about that, folks, is that, like Steve said in the voiceover, that premium members can send in as many submissions as they want. Free members can send in 2, and you can play to anything. Deep cuts, a movie soundtrack, as mentioned. He's done a lot of different things, and we'll look at comments in a moment too. And the other thing is that you are required to do something you're not really able to do on most social channels without it getting snagged or pulled, and that's playing to officially released tracks. We don't have an algorithm for that. We're not breaking any copyright laws because it's not for public distribution. So there's a neat opportunity to play to the versions that you're most familiar with. So there you go. And next we have on Drum Talk TV Brilliance, our next game show is Tuesday, April 22nd, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And the theme is bands influenced by jazz or who have incorporated jazz into their music. And believe me, there's more than we'll be able to work into even 3 rounds of 10 questions each of trivia. So if you're at all familiar with any of that world, that could include fusion, progressive, even Black Sabbath was influenced by jazz greatly. Especially those earlier records, Volume 4, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Masters of Reality. Listen to some of that old stuff, and you can especially hear it in Bill Ward's drumming. So 3 rounds, and winners of each round get a prize package worth at least $50. So join us for those. They're super fun.
I will say from experience that not only is it a lot of fun, but you can actually win prizes. I've actually won.
Yeah.
On a subject I was familiar with. How about that? Okay. After this news show, Dan will go live with Jeff Berlin at 1:30 for another episode of Rhythm and Lows, talking about favorite rhythm section duos.
Yep,
Gotta
that's going to
check
be
that
at 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, 9:30 UK time today, this afternoon / tonight. And a little bit of spoiler alert. I mentioned Gentle Giant, other stuff coming up. That's my bass and drums duo, featuring the late great Ray Shulman on bass and John Weathers on drums. And that's going to be fun. I don't know who Jeff picked. So that'll be interesting. We each highlight and talk about a bass and drum duo team that we admire and why we chose them, and point out what we think makes them so great at them being the team that they are. So join Jeff, Berlin, and myself for that today at those times. And over at Yes Shift, Stephen did his review of a concert in Anaheim by John Anderson and the Band Geeks. And last night, Steve and I interviewed Matt Beck, their guitar player who's playing with them on this tour. Great guy, amazing player. Plus, wait, there's more. The other day, we talked about Yes guitarist Steve Howe for his birthday. So you can look at the Yes Shift Facebook page or YouTube channel, or go to anchor.fm if you want to just listen to it. You can find us there. Just look up Yes Shift, all one word. Lots of Yes shifting around stuff shifting. Yes, something like that. And then Drum Tracks. Our friends over at Drum Tracks Damani Rhodes has been offering a 5-day shed camp challenges where people, even if they're already good drummers, and kind of especially if they're already good drummers, can learn more about the core 4 techniques. The next one is April 28th through May 2nd. People can use our referral link, which Steve is putting in the chat, with a note while I play a video. Here's Damani talking about it with Steve.
I don't understand. Why can't I play it fast? Hold on, wait. Yo, bro, what are you working on, man? You sound frustrated. I'm trying to get better at falling around the kit. I have the ideas in my head, but every time I go to speed it up, your left hand starts dragging behind it. Everything falls apart. Exactly. I mean, I know all my rudiments, but when I try to go faster, this limb just shuts all the way down. All right, here's the deal, man. It really has nothing to do with the rudiment that you're trying to play. It's the fact that you haven't mastered the core 4 techniques. The core 4? And that's why it all starts to fall apart when you try to speed it up. What's that? Single strokes in both hands, double strokes in both hands, singles and doubles in your right foot without a double pedal, and also linear patterns, which is basically just doing singles and doubles between your hands and feet. If you don't have these locked in, your rudiments, your solos, everything is always gonna feel shaky. So how do I fix that? There is a challenge that's been designed for drummers just like you. And the whole point of this challenge is to simplify how you practice and focus on what really matters, which is these core 4 techniques. Whoa, less is what you need to be saying to me right now. How do I join? Yo, bro, it's simple. All you gotta do is just click the link around this video and you'll be able to learn more and even sign up for the next Head Camp Challenge.
There you go. Link is right there in the post. Before we get to music news, I want to check some comments. I almost said some calendars. Let's see. We got, it's us putting in all these different links for all the different things you folks can have fun with. Hey, Michael Maurer in Austin. Awesome. Thanks for joining. Thank you for chiming in. Sometimes people are shy. They just don't chime in. So we'd love to know where you're watching from. And let's see. Let's go to another screen here. There we go. Okay, John, you got some music news to report.
Oh, yeah. Here's a name for you. Pete Best, original drummer for the Beatles, announces his retirement. He'll no longer be doing personal appearances or performing with the Pete Best Band. His brother, Rogue, says it's due to personal circumstances. Pete says, I had a blast. Thank you. Imagine if you were Pete Best.
Well, I can't even fathom. But I hope that those personal reasons are not health related and that he's okay.
Yeah, we all wish him the best.
So it said he's not going to be performing with the Pete Best Band. They're not going to replace him, are they? That wouldn't make sense.
Oh, God, they could replace him with who? Ringo.
Oh, no, don't even say that. That's hilarious.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Let's see. Also, here's the thing, folks. Maybe you've seen this flying around. There have been some posts on social media about a Led Zeppelin reunion, but these are not true. They are false. They are bogus, or the technical term, bullshit. So pay no attention to those. Don't get excited. It's not happening. It's fake news.
All right. So Arcade Fire announces a new album, Pink Elephant, release date May 9th, and shares lead single Year of the Snake.
I got to look for that. I've been wanting to hear that. Yeah.
I checked that. It's good. It's good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Cynthia Erivo announced her sophomore album, Forgive You, comes out June 6th. The Wicked actress also drops her latest single, Worst of Me, today, April 11th. As this is being broadcast live, she timed it perfectly for us to announce it on this episode of the Drum Talk TV News Desk Report. Congratulations, Cynthia. And thanks.
Okay, we have Patti Smith announced her memoir, Bread of Angels, set to be released in November 4th. The book focuses on Smith's teenage years, her foray into the world of poetry, and the recording of seminal works such as her Horses and Easter albums. She says it took a decade to write this book, grappling with the beauty and sorrow of a lifetime. I'm hoping that people will find something they need. She'll be also be touring Europe and the US October and November for the Horses 50th anniversary tour.
Awesome. Wow, 50th. Where's the time go? King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard announced new orchestral album, Phantom Island. Love the title. The release date is set to be announced. And this week there's been a news story that we won't go too much into depth, but we'd be irresponsible as a news desk report not to mention this. But Jillian Lauren Schreiner, the wife of bass player Scott Schreiner of Weezer, this is on people.com. There's an article titled "Wife of Weezer Bassist Fired Gun at Officers Before Being Shot." She was shot in the shoulder, by the way. I read the whole article. Now she's charged with attempted murder. The story continues to develop, and Steve's going to put the link to that as well as the title so that you know what you're looking for. The story continues to develop. Jillian is the wife of Scott Schreiner, as I mentioned, and she's also an author. Announced in March that she had cancer, and during this incident, she was in recovery from a hysterectomy. She was released on $1 million bond, and again is accused of murder on a police officer. They don't take those lightly. So follow the story over at People with that link that Steve's popping into the comments. Crazy times.
Shocking.
Yeah, I have an icebreaker for you, John, and we invite our viewers to participate as well. This is, I think, a juicy one. Think for a moment, everybody, and John, what 3 rock drummers do you think have gotten the most out of the least?
Oh, rock drummers. Oh, you're going to find this very unusual. I'm going to put the drum, and you're going to have to help me here.
Okay.
But, the drummer for Sly and the Family Stone.
Greg Errico. Good pick.
Yeah. Just, a little kid, simple, basic, and man, he just made that win.
Yeah. I don't want to get into racial stuff, or I don't want people to misunderstand, because for those of you who don't know, my wife is black. Okay. So, but I have to say this. I think that Greg Errico and John Weathers from Gentle Giant, who I mentioned earlier, are the funkiest white drummers I've ever heard. And I think it's okay to say that. I mean no offense. I mean, I think that's okay.
Yeah. What's really interesting for me, being a huge Tower of Power fan,
well, you've got that guy.
is to
that
compare David Garibaldi
guy.
with a host of other drummers, each of which was really good and had the chops, but they came with their own unique thing, and that's the kind of beauty of being in that echelon of funk drummers, where you're being funky, but you're being yourself.
But what I love about, and that's totally accurate, what I love about John Weathers and the Greg Errico calls is that neither of them are in funk bands.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Exactly.
So mine, I'm kind of stuck on 3, and there's many, many more. And folks, chime in. Who are your top 3 picks of rock drummers that did the most with least, meaning small drum kit and got the most out of them? One, I truly believe Mitch Mitchell, who played with Jimi Hendrix, of course. Another, John Bonham. I mean, he started with a 4-piece kit, and sounds amazing if you watch those early videos and just watch what he does on a 4-piece kit.
Yeah.
Also, Ginger Baker, like, yeah, he had a double bass, but he didn't have some giant monstrosity, and all the stuff he did with Cream, he really got a lot out of that drum kit. And you have to mention Steve Gadd, of course, as well. There's actually quite a bit of, I'll say, old school drummers that really got so much out of their instrument without big drum sets. And believe me, I love big drum sets. I have one.
I've heard that. Yeah.
But yeah, we'd love to hear from you folks, whether you're watching live or on the archive. That's our icebreaker. That's our news desk report on Drum Talk TV, simulcasting on Yes Shift of April 11th, 2025. We'll be back next week at the same time on Friday. I think that's it, John.
Okay. Another
right.
good show.
I've got a couple of shout outs here. We got Ron Ross Kelly, who says Charlie Watts. Yeah, thank you, Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Michael Maurer says Baker's my favorite too. So very cool. Anybody else? We'll hang for a moment. Anybody else? Anyone?
I think I will say that Charlie Watts, probably the best dressed drummer around.
Of a rock drummer, yeah, because the old school guys who played jazz always wore suit and tie. And then
I can't do that. I couldn't
Charlie
do it.
brought that. Yeah, I can't barely look at a drum kit with a suit and tie. I start to get hot. Like, this is uncomfortable. Yeah, it's amazing. You look at videos of Rufus Speedy Jones, Papa Joe Jones, all those guys in a suit and tie with the jacket on. It's like running on a marathon while you're doing this in a suit. Like, what?
Exactly.
But everything was more classy and formal back then, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Another one would be Roy Haynes, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Always dressed to the T's. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're going to tap dance in the middle of a drum solo, you got to be dressed to the T, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's my next pursuit, tap dancing.
You know, I almost took up doing that, and I didn't even know about Roy Haynes, or I think Papa Joe Jones did it too.
Yeah.
Or Elvin. Yeah, Papa. And I didn't know that. And I thought of the idea. And then I saw those guys do it. And I said, yeah, I'm not going to try to compete with that. It's bad enough I play what I play on the drums trying to emulate my favorites. I don't need that additional layer, but it's really cool. And it makes sense. I mean, we're all about drummers, so it makes sense. Cool.
Good.
Thanks, everybody. We will see you again soon. Join Jeff Berlin and myself at 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, 9:30 UK. Thanks, everyone. Well, I got discombobulated.